Hi, this is A. Wesley. That ain't who tells it like a TI is. If you like my video, please give it a thumbs up. If you like my channel, please subscribe. I had got kind of behind on Bell Collective. I'm finally catching up. This is season 3, episode 11, called Clifton's Neighborhood. It starts off with So Gucci talking to her daughter at a restaurant for lunch, and she asked her daughter D how was she doing, and D said I'm doing all right, but me and my boyfriend are having a few problems. And she said, what do you mean you having a few problems? She said, well, he just want me to stay at home and be a stay at home mom and stuff. I was trying to go back to school and I was trying to do something. She said, well, don't lose yourself in him. She said, but I'm a mother and I need somebody to help take care of my kids. She said, but I still mean don't lose yourself in him. She said, I hope everything works out with y'all. And D said, everything's okay now, Mama. But I'm saying earlier we had some problems. She said, oh, y'all still together? She said, oh no, we decided to go our separate ways for a little bit, and we probably gonna get back together later and stuff like that. If they already having problems in the marriage, I mean in the relationship, and they're not even married, they already had a baby out of wedlock. I hope things work out with D. But from the way she was talking, things ain't gonna work out. The next scene was Aikishia meeting up with Latrice. Meeting up with Latrice at the Smash painting, and so they decided to paint. And Latrice said in her confessional she hoped that Aikishia wasn't setting her up like she did last time when they went out to lunch and they had invited two more other people, which was Aikishia and her husband. But anyway, she said, I just wanted to get you away from the girls and see how everything was doing and see how you was going, Latrice. Latrice said everything is good with me, everything is fine. And like Keisha said, I was just concerned. I was just concerned because the way Cliff treated you at the birthday party. And she said, well, nah, everything is all right. Me and Cliff. She said, no, I'm just worried and concerned. She said that if you need a friend to talk to, I'm one of the friends that you can trust and you can talk to. And then Latrice said, "No, there's not many girls in this friend group that I can trust." And then the kitchen said, "You could trust me, you could trust me." And then it switched to the next scene, and the next scene was So Gucci and Lakeisha meeting up at the smoothie shop. And then Lakeisha asked So Gucci, "How are you doing since everything happened at the party, since the fight at the party?" She said, "Well, I'm doing okay. I'm doing as best as I can." And she said, "What's going on?" She said, "Well, I talked to my daughter D, and D said that she's having problems with her boyfriend, and I told her I hope everything works out and stuff." And she have and so Lakeisha said, "Oh, he seemed like a nice young man to me, a nice young man to me." And she said, "Well, he is a nice young man." And she said, "Well, so Gucci, how are you doing?" She said, "I'm doing all right." She said, "But JJ's daughters, Sanjay and Sky, are upset with me because I filed charges on their mother." And then Lakeisha said, "Well, you had to do what you had to do, so Gucci, you had to do what you had to do." And then so Gucci said, "Yeah, there's a right way and a wrong way to do things, and I did things the right way." And then the next thing you know, that the next thing you know, Latrice says that she's been Latrice says that she's been Latrice says that her and Cliff haven't been out on a date for a while, so they decided to go out on a date and have a date. And Latrice was already at the restaurant, and then Cliff came to the restaurant, and she said, sit down, Zitty." She called him Zitty sometimes, so Cliff sat down. She said, "I got something to tell you," and he said, "What you got to tell me?" She said, "Well, um, I got a brand deal going on." He said, "A brand deal going on?" He said, "You ain't tell me about a brand deal." She said, "I'm telling you right now about the brand deal." He said, "Well, dude, let me see the contract." so the lawyers could go over it. She said, well, I already signed the deal. He said, when you signed the deal? She said, I signed the deal 3 months ago. He said, 3 months ago, and you just now telling me? She said, yeah, but I want to show you that we could be 50-50 in the relationship, and I could do 50-50, so I could do stuff by myself, and you be proud of me. He said, about being a 50-50, being proud of you, it's about you making a bad deal, about you making a bad deal. What if things go soft, and then you be left with nothing? She said, I had my lawyers look over everything, and I'm not gonna be left with nothing. I just want to show you. He talking about, as my husband, you supposed to respect me. You supposed to tell me stuff. You disrespected me and stuff. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it, Latrice. And Latrice got so mad and she was crying. And in her confessional, she said that she thought Zeddy was gonna be happy for her and stuff, because she was making a boss move on her own, but instead of him being happy for her and stuff, so she went out there and she said, well, I understand what you're talking about. Well, I'm supposed to be your wife and I'm supposed to be respectful to you, but you're supposed to be proud of me too. He said, and then she walked away, drove off in her car. Cliff did do her wrong. I don't care what nobody say. Cliff did do her wrong. I didn't like the way Cliff did her and stuff like that. And seemed like Cliff and Glenn got the same controlling ways about Glenn got those ways about Lakeisha, and seemed like Cliff got those ways about Latrice. And then it went to the next scene, and then the next scene was okay, I got that part. Okay, the next scene was Lakeisha. She was inviting the press to her thing, because she talking about she finna have a big boss lady tour, and she had the press in there, and the reporter was saying, well, why are you? She said, well, the reason why I called her in because I wanted to be a lot of promotion for my event, and it's about empowering women and entrepreneurship and stuff. And just as she was finishing her interview, Marie walks up, and then she talks to Marie, and her and Marie going inside the enterprise, and they talk. And she say, Marie, I want you to be on the boss ladies panel. And she said, oh, I wouldn't mind being on the boss lady panel. She said, oh, I want to invite Latrice to be on the boss lady panel. And Marie told me, why you keep trying this, Lakeisha? Why you keep trying to get me and Latrice in the same room? Remember the last time you tried that, it didn't work out. She said, it's not about you. It's not about you. It's about my business, about my panel. And since Latrice got a hair care business, and she finna come out with a new product and stuff, I thought she would be a nice one to be on the panel to empower the young women and stuff. And she talking about, nah, you keep on trying to do. She said, it's not about you. It's not about you. Marie, I keep telling you that. And Marie couldn't get a word in while Lakeisha was hooping and hollering and stuff like that. And so Marie just shut up and stuff. I think Marie just trying to have a made up beef with Lakeisha. I think Latrice. I think she got a jealous of Latrice because Latrice is younger than her and stuff like that. And Lakeisha is trying to get everybody to be on board, all the bills, but I think there's a little bit of jealousy part on Marie, and Marie kept saying last year that she wasn't gonna be invited to going to no events where Latrice was at, but it seemed like she didn't been at maybe 2 or 3 events where Latrice has been at. Then after that, it switched to the next scene. And the next scene was so Gucci. The next scene was so Gucci and JJ talking about that they have a Christmas giveaway that they do every year around Christmas time, where they go out and get out gift baskets. And she said she invited the majority of the bills. Tamara came first, and then after Tamara came Lakeisha, and then after Lakeisha came Marie, and then they was all giving stuff out, and she was saying, "Ooh, I'm glad." And then Lakeisha said, I always try to give back to the community, and this was right up my alley." And then Tambria said, "Yeah, by me being a radio disc jockey, this would give more publicity to the event, and I like doing that." And so next thing you know, Latrice had came, and then so Gucci said, well, I had to put my me and Latrice, we put our issues aside for the cause, for the benefit of the cause in the drive. And so she said, ooh, JJ's daughters are here. I'm so glad that JJ's daughters is here, but I'm gonna keep my distance. I'm gonna keep my distance. And so she kept her distance. And so they was giving out stuff. And then I think it was son Jay said, what we supposed to do? And then JJ said, go over there and ask Gucci. And Gucci said they could be over here handing out this, handing out these flyers and doing this and doing this. So she went on over there. Next thing you know, uh, Bria said, well, I enjoyed this. And she said, ooh, I had to do a lot of walking. There was a lot of exercise. She said, but so Gucci, I got to leave. You know, I got to go back to the radio station stuff. And Gucci said, oh, okay, go on back. And next thing you know, so Gucci said, let's have a break. Let's have a break. Let's take a short break before we go back. So they took a short break. And Latrice was finna go over there. And then Lakeisha said, Latrice, would you mind talking to me for a minute? I want to talk to you for a minute. And she said, you talk to me for a minute. Talk to me about what? She said, I'm going to talk to you about what went on between you and Cliff at that party. She said, well, everything all right with me and Cliff. She said, it don't seem like everything all right with you and Cliff. She said, Cliff disrespects you in front of the whole group. And that's why your whole marriage was a talk of the town. She said, talk of the town. She said, what y'all doing talking about my marriage when me and Cliff left? She said, because the way he treated you. She said, are you okay? She said, yeah. I'm okay. And then Lakeisha said, no, you're not okay. You don't look okay. She said, like I said, he disrespects you and treat you like a child. She said, are you really, really sure you're okay? She said, I'm here for you if you need anything. And then Latrice didn't say nothing and got quiet. And then the show ended. So that was episode 11 for Bell Collective. I got one more episode to see, but overall, Bell Collective has been good. Season 3. Mainly it's been, from what I see, So Gucci, Clifton, Latrice, and Letitia and Glenn. They have been the three main standout families and characters. But this is A. Wesley. That ain't who tells it like a Ti is. I am out.